Hello, welcome to another video from Homesteading Off the Grid. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe to our channel so you'll get notifications every time we upload another one. What I'm going to talk to you about this time is winter gardening, beating cabin fever, planting trees, all together at one time. It's late January where I am right now as we're recording this video, and as you can tell, it's a little chilly. I've got my gloves and a sweater and a toboggan on, but it's not too cold. I've got my coat off. I cannot stress enough the importance of each and every one of us getting sunlight in the winter. It's easy enough to get down and get depressed in the winter because it's cold, it gets dark early, it gets daylight late, but you need to get out when there's sun and allow your skin to soak up some of this sun so that your body can produce vitamin D, which helps prevent depression. Now, with that said, come up with creative ways to get outside. Make yourself get outside when the weather's decent enough, and this is one of those ways. What you're looking at in these pots looks like sticks, and that looks like a tumbleweed. But these look like sticks, but these are not sticks. What these are baby oak trees. They're about 1 year old. So I'm going to show you something you can do in winter on a nice day to get outside and garden and plant trees. You see behind me that big tree? That's a big red oak tree. It's, I don't know, 200 years old maybe, but it drops a lot of acorns in the fall. Now, we actually grow trees here on the homestead. We're kind of tinkering around with the idea of starting a tree farm. And the reason why is because when we bought our property 2 years ago, we decided to start digging up smaller trees at the edge of our wood line and planting them down on the road front. We have about 300 or 400 yards of road frontage. We planted over 200 trees. About halfway through, we decided, oh, this is hard work, let's go buy some trees. So we went and looked at trees in the stores, and my goodness, if you've never priced trees, it'll blow your mind. Okay, for example, oak trees. If you buy an oak tree that's only 5 feet tall, you're gonna pay $100 retail for it. Now, what you're paying for really is time, the farmer's time. Okay, I'm gonna show you something. If you'll follow me this way, the leaves are off, but I know a lot about trees. I know what I'm looking for. This tree, this is an oak tree. This is a red oak. It grew from an acorn from that big tree we just saw in the video. It's about 3 feet tall. That means this tree is about 3 years old. So the reason you pay $100 retail for a 5 foot tall tree is because you're paying for the tree farmer's time. It takes that tree 5 years to get to 5 feet tall. Now after that, oak trees will start growing 2 feet a year or faster, but the first 5 years, they grow the slowest. So we weren't going to pay $100 per tree. We wanted some oak trees. So we decided we'd dig up these smaller ones. Well, we got a lesson about tap roots. Though this oak tree is only 3 feet tall, its taproot, the root that grows straight down as it comes out of the acorn, is probably anywhere from 6 to 10 feet deep. Oak trees have the deepest taproots of any tree on the east coast in the United States, and they go quick fast. So if we look back at our pots, these small trees, as small as they are, these are 1 year old. We know because we got the acorns last fall, so they're a little bit more than a year old. This pot is containing this taproot, so maybe this spring we'll go ahead and transplant this tree into our yard, or if we wanted to sell trees, put it in a bigger pot, and then in another 4 years, instead of selling it for 100, we could sell it for 50 and undercut the market and probably sell them on Craigslist all day long. And that's what we're thinking about doing with various trees. But at any rate, by having it in this pot, that taproot is contained. So when we do transplant this miniature tree to the yard or a larger pot, we're not going to damage the taproot, and we're not going to injure the tree or kill the tree. If you tried to dig up that 3 feet tall red oak sapling that I just showed you, you would kill it because you'd have to cut through the taproot, the tree wouldn't recover, and it would die. Now, how do you find the acorns? The best time is to do it in the fall. We're going to upload another video later today showing you where we actually planted 3,000 acorns last fall. That one's going to blow your mind. So check back scroll down on our videos and look at that. But let's say it's January, you're outside, you want to beat cabin fever, soak up some sun. Go out in the woods and find an oak tree and just dig around in the leaves pretty much anywhere. We know that the acorns fall, and I'm cheating a bit. before we started, I moved these leaves to see how easy it would be to find them, and there was one here. And you can see we've had some sun lately, and that's just enough to get that thing to start rooting. Now I could take this, put it in a pot, and we put them in the house. I mean, when they're this young, we have a bunch of spare rooms in our old farmhouse that are filled with baby trees and plants. But let's not cheat. I'm gonna keep that for later. Dig around some more. You find a lot of old ones. There's plenty of them here. I don't know if you're seeing them, but the squirrels have gotten a lot of them. And some of them just haven't rooted yet. There's some acorns in here somewhere. They're rooting. Here's one, look at that, see? It took me, I mean, we're not gonna edit that out. If you're still with us after watching me dig around in the leaves for 45 seconds to a minute, thank you for still being here. But we like to be honest with our videos and show you how easy it actually is to find them. Now this is a good one, and it's healthy. Now the thing is, when the cold weather comes back in February, this might die. Okay, we're not through winter yet. We're just having some extremely warm weather. That's why these are starting to root. So we're going to take this one and put it inside and plant it too. Now, aside from oak trees, a really big advantage to getting out in the middle of winter and going around your wood line, we only own in just to about that oak tree. It's on the line actually, so we own the acorns when they fall. But we have a neighbor that's got 40 acres over there. Our property's over here. So we always stay on our side. And we're reforesting the back of our property. We're gonna let this grow up into a forest, but we have a wood line. And one of the advantages, yeah, you can see it there. You can see where I'm clearing the brush. And we've got our tree lines down there in the front, but all this field that's grown up here in the back, we're gonna let reforest because we wanna have more woods. Now, that's one of the reasons we're getting these little small trees. But I'm going to show you something else here real quick. This is an eastern red cedar. We've had it in this pot for about a year. And this is a white pine, might be a ponderosa pine. It's been in the pot for about a year. Both of these evergreens were only half the size they are now before we potted them. But now, where'd they come from? They came from here, the tree line. This is another, if this was June or July, you would never see something this small sitting here because it would be covered with briars and brambles and everything else. But since it's an evergreen, just like the cedar, and here's some cedars, these are kind of big, it sticks out like a sore thumb in the winter. So you can dig it up, pot it, and then as our forest back here grows up, if we have bare patches where there aren't any trees coming up, and you can't tell right now, but we have hundreds and hundreds of trees coming up in this field, we'll take some of these oaks, some of these cedars and pines, and we've got maples, poplars, everything. We'll put them in the bare spots so that we don't have the bare spots. Or, like I said, 3 to 5 years from now, we might even sell them on Craigslist. But this is a good way to get outside, beat cabin fever, garden in the winter, and grow trees. Please make sure you subscribe to our channel, Homesteading Off the Grid, and check back in with us later for more videos.